Hi, my name's Lee McLaughlin and welcome to IMOUT Studios and the first ever IMOUT podcast. On this podcast, we talk about all things alternative, indie and rock music in the north of Scotland, past, present and future. My guest today is a multi-instrumentalist, a songwriter, a session musician from Inverness and has been part of the landscape in the city I call home for the last 15 years, Mr. Joshua Mackenzie.
Hello.
Josh,
Hello.
how you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome
for the most
to
part.
The first ever podcast.
Thank you for
Are you
having
nervous?
me. A little bit. I think 8 minutes and we'll be grand. We'll
Yeah.
be flying.
What's
Yeah.
making you nervous?
I don't know. Just the format of like it's now entered another dimension. We're now in podcast dimension. It's like
We'll see. That'll be up to the people.
Yeah.
That's what it all is. So, what are you up to? What are you doing right now?
Preparing to release an album, I suppose. Like for the first time ever. I've never actually like released an album, or I don't think I've ever played in a band that released an album I was like within at the time, or so. Yeah, it's quite a weird time. I kind of just want to get it out now,
Yeah. So, where did you record the album?
In North Ayr.
North Ayr.
Well, it was all written in the Highlands. It's still got its roots in the, And
I mean, do you think that's important? That stuff that like if you write music or you live here and you are from here, that you need to do it here. Like, do you think that matters?
I don't think it like matters in like from the point of view of it being a principle, but like it is just a really good place to write.
Yeah.
Like I like that's one. I've kind of been quite conflicted about living in the Highlands, but the thing like it goes both ways. The nice part about it, the thing that obviously keeps me here is like the space to just like to be able to kind of go around, walk within 5 minutes. You're in the middle of nowhere from Inverness, and it's so peaceful, and you've got the nicest scenery like in Britain, basically, or one of the nicest places anyway.
In any direction.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Matt's here helping us, by the way. When I look off camera, he's not going to say anything, and he said not to speak about him, but Matt's here. There he is. Hi, Matt. So yeah. So you recorded there, like did you think in a little way it was actually important to get away from where you live to make a record? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think that's something that's important?
I would actually say no. Like I would prefer it if it was just a 20-minute drive away from my house. Mm-hmm. But the actual look, like once you're there, the studio and working with Jason Shaw. It was good. That's great.
Face studio.
I in a perfect world, Jason would just live like a couple hours closer to here.
So anyway, you made your record down there, and who's putting it out?
Last Night from Glasgow, which I know seems kind of weird and contradictory, but there's lots of international artists they work with. It's kind of, I guess the name doesn't necessarily mean that it's like, exclusively Glaswegian based acts.
I mean, I don't think it's contradictory. I think it's a man with a name for a label. It's a digital world.
Yeah.
This is something I wanted to touch on as well, because I think identity is important about where you are. Oh, I'm just making sure we're still recording. We are. Great.
Yeah.
So where you are is important for your identity, but it doesn't limit who you can communicate with. It doesn't limit who you can interact with, what you're all about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I think sometimes people, again, it's all just an opinion, but sometimes we have access to all the information that's ever existed. Mm-hmm. We have access to people in every city of the world. Mm-hmm. But some people want to use that to find out what's happening 2 doors down. They're like in like a neighbourhood watch group talking about like, I can't believe he bought a tree for his garden without
informing the local council.
Actually, you could start a label, like they've started a label, and find bands from anywhere in the world and contact them and say, I like your music. Let's do some stuff together. Mm-hmm. I think it is important to have identity where you are, but then that doesn't go away if somebody from another city becomes part of what you're doing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's like saying, I mean, it's probably not the best thing to talk about, whatever, but that's like saying that, like Damien Rice stopped being Irish.
Pierce Brosnan stopped being Irish.
No, I mean, listen, whatever. And, what do you think Pierce Brosnan's best film is?
Well, it's got to be Goldeneye.
No.
What's his best
Mrs.
film?
Doubtfire, man.
Yeah.
Mrs. Doubtfire. What a performance.
He's in a Long Good...
No pepper.
Is it Long Good Friday? You know, the Bob Hoskins film?
What, Angry Bob?
Yeah, he's pretty angry in that film.
Yeah.
And Pierce Brosnan, I don't think, has a single line. He just plays an Irish henchman.
A henchman?
Yeah.
As in modern, like he has he's big or...
He's just a dog's body, but does all the dirty stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he's pretty good at Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right, okay, I can't remember that film well enough to remember. I remember him being in it vaguely.
That's that age difference there, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So your record comes out on the 26th of September.
26th of September, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got a show here?
Yes, the next day, on the Saturday, 27th of September.
Okay, and then who's playing that show?
Ourselves, the Joshua Hotel, and Swiss Portrait.
Who are the Joshua Hotel? Who's in your band?
Joshua Gilbert plays drums, who I met on the first day of first year in school in the Inverness Royal Academy.
Uh-huh.
And Lewis Slorick plays guitar in that band, who I met a few years later.
Formerly of Misty Badger is Gilbert.
Yes, he is. Yeah. And These Are My Legs. I think
that was the name of the band.
He was in a band called Are These My Legs? No, they had another name. It was Misty Badger, Coco Majestic, with Blair
Majestic.
Young.
Aye, okay, Blair.
Yeah. So I've always known Josh, and we've always had conversations about music, and we did actually jam. Me, Blair, and Josh jammed like 12 years ago in Blair's garage, and it was great. And then that was probably when I was starting Lionel. Or trying to find,
which we'll get on to.
Yeah. So I always knew he had what it takes,
Had what it takes.
Yeah.
How what it takes to what?
To serve a song.
To serve a song.
That is the most important thing.
As a drummer.
Drummers, bass players, guitar players, whatever. It doesn't matter how, technically sort of agile you are in your instrument, as long as the thing you do just serves the song, then it's cool. We're good. Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go away and study music. I studied composition, and that was what I was doing. But I remember we were doing like a jazz module or something, and like probably sitting here. And I'd say my playing ability is adequate. I'm adequate.
Hey, a good rhythm player.
Well, yeah, but that's what I do. I'm good at keeping time and playing open chords, right? But that's what you want to do when you're singing anyway.
Yeah.
I can write other bits, but I'm functional. I'm a functional musician, but that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm there to like write songs, right? But I remember we're doing this like jazz module, and everyone, honestly, the players on this degree are just unbelievable.
Yeah. But
I remember sitting there thinking, going, yeah, that's great, but I still think Nights I'm Like Satin by the Moody Blues is better.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
But that's my thing. But and I remember going to like jazz nights at this really cool pub called the Malt Shovel with my friend Martin, and these play again unbelievable. But I was still thinking, it's still I still think Live Forever's better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that there's a different way you're wired. Like there's actually an Noel Gallagher quote recently. He's talking about it, and he goes, "If he was a wizard of the fretboard, he probably wouldn't have written those songs."
No, he wouldn't have.
And
I think people have different intentions for what like music means to them.
Yeah.
For some people, it is like just about like expressing this innate like need to be creative, and for other people, it's just about the passion of like getting as good as you can in a technical sense. And I'm not saying one's more valid than the other. I prefer one. Even though I did have elements when I was growing up where I definitely have respect for the other side of things. But I like Kurt Cobain's guitar playing as much as I like Van Halen's guitar playing. I think they're both as valid. They both do the same job. It's like emotionally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for what's needed.
Well, I was trying. It's a funny one. Music's a strange thing as well, and it's only in recent times that I've kind of figured out my relationship with it.
Yeah, same here. I'm almost still kind of trying to suss out what it is.
Well, I think what I've found is it's a spirituality without religion.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
and that's what I've kind of found, and I think that's the reason why. This is all again just an opinion, but that's the reason why. Like the longer Springsteen's going, the more those concerts are like a sermon. Like people are needing these things.
Yeah,
the Oasis reunion gigs, man. The reactions from the people, like it's not by surprise that people are just overcome.
Yeah,
by it, and it's not just memories of their youth, or it's like it's kids that are getting that too.
Yeah, totally.
And whether you like a band like that or not, it doesn't really matter. It's about what kind of songs he writes.
Yeah.
And there's loads of videos going about, and he's getting emotional.
Yeah.
And they're getting emotional.
Uh-huh.
That to me is what always kind of was my thing.
Yeah.
And whenever I don't play that often, but whenever I do play it, if I get there, that's what I wanted from it.
Yeah.
If one other person there gets there, then great. It doesn't matter. I went to the Afghan Wigs, and it was like it was basically the same.
Yeah.
And I found that kind of need, that desire to be together by sharing a story, or that vulnerability, that weird kind of messed up sense of we're all a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Like that's what brings people together. That's what I really liked. It's a bit perverse, to be honest, because it's usually done by quite anxious, quite sensitive, quite like, frightened kind of people. A lot of creative people I know, a lot of the best ones.
Certainly just generally sensitive. Yeah, very sensitive people.
The thought of doing the thing before you do the thing is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you feel like you're going to die.
Yeah.
But then you're protected by something when you walk out there.
Yeah.
It's like, I've like done gigs when I'm like in the throes of a breakdown. You know what I mean? But then, and I walk out into a festival like 2 PM, and there's like quite a lot of people there, and you feel very exposed and stuff. But then something just kind of guards you as you walk out, and you're like, oh no, I'm fine. In fact, this is the escape from life, actually. So
Well, it is that thing. Yeah, it's a weird kind of mix between control and vulnerability.
Yeah, and you just, when you throw yourself into it and you just let go, it's like, there's been times when it hasn't.
Yeah.
Especially when you're younger. It's you're not as sure as yourself. You don't have as much confidence that protective force is going to be there, but it kind of grows as you kind of grow or just the more experienced you are, I suppose.
I mean, that's the thing that I think is so wonderful about, it's really difficult to attribute any value to what you're doing personally. Like when you're starting doing it as well, when you're just going as well, you don't know, like it's different when you're young. You kind of care about what people think. You don't want to, but everyone does when they're like a teenager, right?
I think they do up until they're like 60s, to be honest with you.
And everyone kind of does.
In some small way, anyway.
And you don't want it, but it can hurt. It can hurt you feel like, and when you're doing that. And I remember all that. And like, stuff, you're not trying to be cool, but you want to be accepted, but you also don't care, and you also want all these things. And especially the way it used to be, and that's fine, but like, it used to be about, you imagined in your head, because I'm 40 next year, and like, when I started making music, you still sold CDs, man. Do you know what I mean? You still did these things. But I'm also just of that generation that MySpace was brand new. So when I was at university doing this, we realized really quickly that we could make like a demo, contact a venue and say, can we come and play at your gig? And they'd go, yeah. So we could book a tour and then go on the road without management, without like a booking agent, without a label, without any of these things. And it was like, whoa. But up until that point, even just a couple of years before, that wasn't a thing. You didn't do that kind of thing. And it was really cool. But then that kind of carried on. And then I think with streaming and stuff came in, the value of it dropped out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But but what I've always argued is you are better to play to 3 people who want to be at your show instead of playing to like a massive field of people.
That's my principle.
And it takes a while to get there. And maybe I'm very, coming from I feel very fortunate for every opportunity I've ever had. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
But if you were asked my favorite show, it isn't the one with the most people at it.
Never is. Like last year was an example of that for us. We had some really cool festival gigs last year, and our best gig last year was at Upstairs in Inverness to like 80 people. Yeah. And it was just like, it's just something about it emotionally, and it's like the atmosphere that was created. And those festival gigs were great. They were cool in different ways. They had, it's always nice to just play on a big stage. You love, having the PA on the stages, but when it like plays back to you, and it's just kind of like, you feel like the dog's bollocks. You feel, megalomaniacal, I suppose.
Well, it's good,
Especially when you've not slept the night before, which I had.
I mean, it's okay to enjoy these things. It's okay to play a big stage like that and hit a chord and go, "Oh man, that feels good." You kind of all want a shot at the drums. Do you know what I mean? Like you look at the drummer and you go, "Oh,
that's
mate,
the time when it's like drummers always like whenever you're talking about your favorite gigs, it's the drummer. It's like, oh, the main stage bella drum, that was the best one. And actually, maybe for this, for you, or sometimes for me, those big gigs weren't great for one reason or another, like in my own performance, or whatever. But drummers always just if they've got the big dominating sound system, and the bass drum.
I mean, I wonder if that. I mean, I've done a few, but not so many that they became like a normal thing. So I wonder if you continue to do them, I guess, does it change? And then that's it. But it's a weird thing because you always feel like there's a past. There's like small clubs and like rock clubs, which are awesome and actually far more revealing.
Yeah.
Of a band and where they're at actually than the bigger stuff. To be honest, it's
totally.
a weird one. Like I always say, like the Market Bar here in Inverness is like a boot camp for rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I mean I haven't done it yet, but I keep talking about I want to go back and do like just one in there, and it's like I've got no lights, I've got no effects, I've got nothing. It's just like, does your band still work as a punk rock band?
Straight in at Speedy's PA.
Yeah. Does it still work as a punk rock band? And the answer could be, oh no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it. But
no, I know what you mean. Yeah. And well, back to what you were saying about like, I think like for me, I'd quite happy to just have like, say like, in a perfect world, like there's that cliche, that kind of like almost I suppose it's like a tech bro cliche, like if you have like 1,000 or entrepreneurial cliche, like if you have 1,000 committed fans, that's all you need or whatever. But like it's fair. I like in the essence I kind of like agree with it. Like I'd rather have like 500 to 1,000 people who really get the music instead of like 100,000 or a million or a zillion who are just kind of a bit more passive. Like for like and. An example of that would be like if I watched the Pavement film last week. I've never been like a huge fan of Pavement. I had a phase. I've always really liked Steve Malcolm's lyrics though, but like culturally they are so important, like unbelievably. But you wouldn't have been able to kind of like understand that or quantify it until probably the past 10 years, like almost 30 years after they were going around touring and playing to like half empty rooms, or even on the Lollapalooza tour, it was like Palooza tour rather. It was like, they were kind of the whipping boys. And it's like, but they meant so much to like a small portion of people in every single city. Like it really, really meant so much to the point where it passed down to the next generation. And so like, and if you look at like, I don't know, sort of stuff that was maybe massive, but on a more passive way, like maybe like the stuff that draws in like a passive listener, like, I don't know, like the boy bands of the 90s or whatever. It's like, if a lot of them, some of them I'm sure still could like, do a sellout tour, but there's a lot of acts that like were huge in a commercial sense, but just have not had the long lasting legacy. I suppose that's sort of almost a denigrating way of putting it, but like, they don't have as much impact.
Well,
in an emotional sense. It's like, I would rather be the kind of, like Velvet Underground as well. It's like they were nothing at the time. They weren't, they weren't legends. They weren't. Yeah. They were kind of really struggling heroin addicts, and like, but it was just like everyone who went on to become something huge was influenced by that record.
Well, we talk about the 90s and stuff, and it's like, what I've been thinking, what I've noticed, just in general, is music as a thing in recent years has become less part of pop culture.
Yeah, that's
so it
true.
just isn't what it was. So what that does, in my opinion, is that removes the passive engagement. That removes like if you're in a big band in 1996, everyone knows who that band is, whether they do or don't like music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that's not the way. The way that music's consumed has changed so much. The way that music, its place in society, and what. Do you know what I mean? Like, as it's, let's say pop culture is made up of film and music and TV and books or whatever. The ratio of how much music is of that in pop culture is smaller.
Yeah.
But I think that's all right, because the people that are going to dig it are going to be more into it.
Yeah,
So that might be quite cool, because like people that want to do music because they want to be like famous, or they want to be like people to know who they are, they're probably not going to do music because it's not an easy way to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, like the people that want fame and stuff like that, or just want it for the kind of notoriety.
Yeah.
And they'll do something.
They'll be on OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? Or whatever, like that's it.
Yeah,
And
even like X Factor stuff like that's dried up, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, because it was revealed for what it was,
Yeah.
it's a funny one, and it's, it was very exploitative.
Yeah, it's true. It's like the people that are still doing it, like, it shows their metal more. You know what I mean? It's like
Well, I think if it's part of who you are and what you actually need to do, you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you can. He says, with like whatever,
I should have become a lorry driver years ago, essentially. But like, I just, I can't apply for a few jobs, and it's like
that was it.
And I write a song, and I'm like,
that was it.
This is what I have to do. So,
but I mean, I think if what you're doing it for is to do it because that's who you are, then it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But it depends on what your goal is for doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to figure out. It's not something like I was doing it, but didn't know why for a long time.
But you don't know, like, when you're a teenager, you don't really understand why you do anything.
Well, I mean, teenager for you because you started really young, but like for normal mortals, they tend to be more in your 20s when you start to do this sort of more as a semi-professional kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I knew I had to, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And that was very conflicted and actually quite, you were there for a part of it.
Some of it, yeah.
And I knew I needed to do it, and I knew it was important for me and important for whatever. And I knew that I needed to work a certain way to get stuff together. But I'm not going to say unhappy. I loved the music and I loved the gigs, but like personally, I was an absolute mess.
Yeah.
But there were some of there were some amazing gigs in there.
Yeah. I was the same at that period in my life. Well, no, maybe a bit young because not when I was in your band, but like when I'd started my own band. Then at that time, the first couple of years of that, I was probably the most unhealthy in my entire life, but still had some of the greatest gigs, the greatest times.
You don't know what you're supposed to be doing, and you got a little bit further than I did and stuff, but like it's not like there was crazy pressure on me or anything, but there was enough for me to not really cope with it and like to not understand why I was even doing it. I feel I'm very lucky that I managed to make some incredible friends and finally find out what I was supposed to be doing and end up in the studio and making records and all these kind of things as well. And I figured out at one point, sort of in the middle, that all I wanted to do was music for a living.
Yeah.
And I'm almost there. Use this place and I'll get there. That's nice. Great. But like, do you know what I mean? Like almost there. And that's actually what I wanted. And that gives you access to everything. But it's so hard to know why you're doing it at any point.
Yeah, I know. I sort of, I still don't really know. I don't have the ultimate question. I mean, I think there's like some of my friends who are more practical minded and have got very, sort of conventional jobs, have sort of said to me like, well, the way that you can just look at it is it's actually is your trade as well. And if you want to put it in a very sort of just, simple sense, and it is true. But then being creative, I don't know. There's many sort of aspects of it. Like there's like for me, like when I work on something and being creative and writing something, that is the best time. That is the best moment for me.
Yeah.
Like when I'm like just sitting at home recording a demo or just figuring out what this song is going to be using different synths and stuff like that. I'll lose like, half a day, the old cliche, like you forget to eat, you don't know what time it is and blah, blah, blah. But that is a state of mind that is like so addictive to me. And that's probably the best part of all of anything ever. Maybe close second is playing live.
Do you have, do you ever have any fear about what happens when it leaves that room? Like, so let you write a song and you're telling whatever story you're telling, and that's what it is as well. I guess it depends on lyrical content. It depends on the subject matter of the song or whatever as well. But do you ever feel kind of overexposed? I guess.
Yes and no, because like, I don't know. Like, there's always an element of like a song that I write that's like it is me and it's not me.
Okay.
It's like well, not to make my songwriting sound any more complicated than it needs to be, but like like authors. Like I remember I was always in awe of how like authors of like great books, like how did they make like 500 pages of really dynamic characters and storytelling? How did and then I sort of became really good friends with one, and I asked them about it, and they're like, oh no, they're like, we spend years collecting characters, like you'll be in part of one of my characters, it's like, and that's what they do. So but and experiences, they're like, things that happen in my life, they're all logged, like they keep, but then then the name changes, and then one character is 3 people, and and then the person that did, that they experienced things they experienced becomes a different person as well. It's like, so that's kind of, there's always that element, I think, even in songs. Sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's completely, just like a raw kind of reflection of something that's literally happened. But for me, there's always enough. Because I like using my imagination, and as much as possible. There's always an element that's quite fantastical, I suppose. So I'm protected by that in a sense. And also another thing I do, which is perhaps a protective mechanism, is I kind of don't. I quickly drop any commitment to a song and move on to the next one.
Okay.
Because it's like, if that one is, if everyone says it's like rubbish, whatever, no one, it doesn't do well in whatever terms, whatever, then it's like, it doesn't matter because I've got these next ones to work on.
Yeah.
So I'm always, that's the thing, we've got an album coming out next month, and I've already started the batch of songs, and there's already songs in there. I'm like, oh, it's better than any song in the album. But whether it is or not, I can possibly tell, what I mean? But it's like, that is something I do, is that I just keep working. Because you kind of, I think it's quite a common thing, really.
I think there's 2 ways of it, and there's like people write a lot, and then they play the best ones, or you get people probably more unwell like myself that will write 20 and take a decade. Like it's that kind of thing. I think there's two ways to it. Like Leonard Cohen, how long did it take him to write Hallelujah? It was like 10 years or something like that. So there's that, or there's like the Bowie thing, and he's like, well, do you know what?
Just do it.
Right. And then he's also, they're all amazing. That's
there's not. But like, I think there's a good lesson there that like not everything that Bowie did was great, but he made some really terrible albums in the late 80s for the wrong reasons.
Right.
But I think he made some iffy albums in the 90s, but he was still quite proud of them because it didn't matter. It was like, they weren't well received. They weren't my greatest albums, but I was being true to myself on those albums.
And at that point as well, he's like finding Trent Reznor, and he's finding
exactly,
Brian Molko, and all these guys are going, this guy, and everyone's, it's that thing. But I think there's this weird, it's like that kind of thing. I guess when you're doing it that way, where you're writing so many of them and you're not getting that stress, you never become like your captor, right?
Yeah.
So I guess if you're able to let go of them like that as well, it doesn't feel that vulnerable to be playing it with someone else.
Yeah.
So we hinted earlier on that you started in the live environment like very young, really.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there was bits and bobs when I was a kid. Like my dad would take me up to do stuff and all that, but I think the first band I played in was with Multi Parrots in the soundtrack. We're like a school band from Inverness Royal Academy, and they just needed a bass player.
It's also the school that I went to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
And anyone went there.
Well, all the kids from Hilton, but we're from different parts of Hilton.
We'll touch on that, shall we? Yeah.
Well, one of us is from posh Hilton,
right?
And it's not me.
What would be Johnston Place?
I grew up in Johnston Place in the block of flats there.
Block of flats. Yeah, but that was the nicest block of flats in all of Hilton. I
mean, they were all pretty similar. Do you know what was great about Hilton is all the houses were the same, right? So like if you went, you made the friends because everyone was out playing, doing whatever, blah 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 blah. We'd had playing fields and the fields when I was little
because there was nothing. There was Castle Heather not quite there yet.
No, well, it got built when I was when I was in primary school. So it started to exist when I was getting, a bit 7 or 8 or something like that. Yeah. But before that, there was the fields across the way. And Morrickway was the other place. And yeah, man, Morrickway, there used to be like a scout hut at Morrickway, and I'll get into this on another thing, but Hard Times, who are the origin story for rock and roll in the city where we live.
Yeah.
Like loads of guys we all know, like Bell and Wayne Mackenzie, that your dad knows very well, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, James Harvey, Alan,
Yeah.
like doing sound, Limelight.
Yeah.
Like all these guys were involved with that band. They used to rehearse in the community centre, which used to be in the Morrickway car park.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And I made a record with them that's called The Songs from the Wildcat Place, and the Wildcat Place is the bit at the bottom of Caldean School.
Yeah, I know the bit. It was called the Nature Area when I was there.
We made it the Nature Area,
Right,
man.
okay.
When I was there, it was full of syringes and mattresses and stuff. But they took all the kids
we
to
had
clean it out, which probably wasn't the
we
best
had to clean
thing.
it out, and we found lots of
lots of
contraception. And,
yeah, all these people have been safe, you know. But that was the Wildcat Place, like that, and that's what that album's called.
Yeah,
but yeah, they were the first year of Caldean School. Harvey and Bell were in primary 2 the year Caldean School opened.
Right. Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
That's it. So yeah, that place saw a lot of rock and roll from Hilton.
Yeah.
Posh or otherwise, you know.
Oh, it's old Hilton. That's
Old Hilton.
Yeah.
Aye, well, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't Hilton Avenue. That place has got a grassy embankment, which is maintained by the council.
It does.
You know, that's the Beverly Hills of Hilton.
Beverly Hills. Yeah, what? Like, is that where Eddie Murphy lives? Is that where Eddie Murphy stays when he comes in? Who else is in Beverly Hills Cop? Who was the other guy?
That's before my time again.
I'm thinking of 48 Hours. I'm thinking Nick Nolte, haven't I? He's not doing well, is he, Nick? Or maybe he's doing tremendous. Maybe he's having a wonderful time. Anyway.
Yeah.
You were very young when you started playing rock.
Yeah,
right?
I just was desperate to play in a band that was playing gigs, so I was like, yeah, I'll play bass in your band, and it was really good fun, really, really cool. And then the next thing was playing with you when I was 17. I actually auditioned to play bass.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
When, I can't remember what happened, but like, you were,
Andy.
Yeah, Andy had been playing bass. Did he move away or something? I know he's away now, but I don't know. But anyway, you had to do a tour with James Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did a single together.
Sorry. Yeah, you had to do a tour
we
with
wanted
James. We
to,
loved
lad.
you, James.
Yeah, I love James, man. James is great. I like this being the Highlands. Like, honestly, people are so ridiculous. People like to stir nonsense that doesn't exist. And in reality, everyone knows everyone, genuinely. Like, or everyone, this is my own experience, but everyone knows everyone. Mm-hmm. And we did this, we did a split single together.
Yeah.
And we called it the Fault Line Single.
I remember this. Yeah, it was Remedy and
Don't Look Behind You.
Oh, it was two songs, right? And then
yeah, and James had two on it. I can't remember what they are, James. I'm sorry, but they were like, no, the Journey
Boat Song, not
Journey.
Was
it Boat Song was on it? I think.
To Wear.
I don't have a copy of that single.
Yeah.
Somebody does. Russell will. Russell's
got everything.
Yeah, Russell will have that. He'll know what was on it. James, tell us what singles were on it. I can't remember. But we recorded all them down in Gargle Blast.
Right, okay. Cool.
Which was Andy Miller's studio.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did the tour, and then that was the first time that we ever played in the Ironworks. That was our own show.
Right, cool.
But it was us and Mackenzie and the Leonard Jones Potential.
All right,
so
cool.
we kind of pulled
everyone who...
And I think charged like a $5 to get in.
Yeah.
To try and do it.
Yeah.
But it worked, you know, it was weird because, you know, we'd done a few supports in there and blah, 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 blah. But yes, that was that tour.
So I did, you did actually give me the job. But then I was like, then you sent me the tour. I think I had just turned 17 actually.
Yeah.
But I had like crippling agoraphobia. So I was like, oh, Thurso, I can't quite make it up there. Glasgow, I can't quite make it down there. So I was like, I told you the next day, I was like, sorry, I can't do it. Yeah.
At this point as well, I had your dad, so my mom moved from Hilton to like a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Like at a bungalow. And your dad, was your dad living next door at this point?
Next door, yeah. I was living there. Yeah.
Because I used to come back from university and there'd be somebody playing drums.
It was me.
And I'd say, that guy's quite good.
Yeah.
Who's that? That guy's quite good.
Yeah, I put the drum kit in the garage and I lasted 3 days and then it was like, Josh. And it was your mum.
My mum?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
She was like, do you think you could she put it across in a very polite way. She's essentially saying like, shut the hell up.
So
like,
mum's a retired primary school teacher who taught
me in primary 1 and 2.
Right, and you can read this.
I'm joking.
She said
in the report card, I'm not joking. She said, Josh is a mathematical genius.
Oh, there you go.
But I mean, I didn't amount to anything in the world of numbers. Quickly lost. I had no interest in it, but she did. Apparently, I was really I had a knack for.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But anyway, yeah, that was.
So you did play bass, and Mark Williamson. I think
he filled in. Yeah, he did. I remember because I was like, I was talking to Pell, and I was like, did you?
Paul Elliott, for those who don't know who Pell is. But
and I was like, did you get someone sorted? Like, I felt like a bit guilty, and he was just like, he said, Mark's going to do it. Yeah.
And at that point, we were still wearing white shirts and waistcoats at the time.
Yeah, that was actually the real reason.
Well, the whole point of that was, it was funny because, again,
Mumford & Sons hadn't quite established.
It wasn't that. It was kind of the antithesis of that. I mean, I just thought it was been funny.
Yeah.
But I wanted to look like one of those bands and then not sound anything like them.
Yeah.
So I wanted people to see that and be like, oh, I bet there's a banjo.
Yeah. But there was no.
And there was no banjo.
Rage and alcohol.
Well, that kind of nonsense. So, but it's funny because there's a really good Liam Gallagher kind of snippet floating about just now, and he's talking about not looking at it. He's like, do whatever, mate. You're dressed in a waistcoat. You look like a dick or whatever.
Yeah.
But I used to do gigs in a waistcoat, and then later on, I actually got sponsored by Pretty Green.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So I was doing gigs in his jacket. So I was like, Russell sent it to me, and I was like, well, do you know what? I managed to do both gigs in waistcoats and gigs in his clothes. That's not bad, man. Not bad. I've still got that jacket. It doesn't fit anymore, but that is the goal.
Right. Okay, that's a good.
It won't happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're 17, you said.
Yeah, and then like about 6 months later, you then needed a guitar player. Mm-hmm. I was like, right, I can, deal with the agoraphobia for playing some tasty solos. Mm-hmm. Much to your chagrin. No. No, I was like, I would like really love to play guitar. So in the band, so I kind of pushed through, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And our first gig was at King Tut's, I remember. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I was only 17, so you did have to sneak me in. They wouldn't let people at that point. I don't know if they've changed now, but they're like, no, you had to be 18 to play.
I don't know if it was you had to be 18 to play, but you certainly weren't allowed a beer.
Oh no, yeah, definitely not. But I don't think. I remember Steve kind of like sort of freaking out about it on the way.
Well,
he's
I mean, they
didn't care. It wasn't like they were standing there with like
if you were standing there having a pint,
of course, which we weren't. You just didn't feed me alcohol.
No, we didn't do that. That's not what happened. But like that kind of thing. Yeah, but I mean, I guess I don't know. The DF were really nice to us after that gig. Yeah. I don't know though. Was that the one with like Esther O'Connor and stuff, who was like amazing? I can't
remember who was,
because there was two we did there, and one was like really fitting, and the other one was like the bands were all great, but I think they thought that I was something else.
I think there was one night where there was like a band that had like all the kind of Paul Weller haircuts.
Well, that's all. That's just every band. Mate.
Yeah,
that's just
a lot of the time.
That's just every gig about that time. But like, though, there was one that was done, and it was like, my name's Ian McLaughlin, Gaelic, and then Irish, despite having a word of neither. Right?
Yeah.
Wait. Anyway, but like, I think they thought I was like more folky. I don't know what happened.
It's the waistcoats, man.
It was the waistcoat, maybe.
They just saw a photo of you,
and it was on this bill, and everyone else was excellent, but it was just like they were doing this really beautiful music, and guitars, and Dave's got a mohawk, and also anyway, the next one made more sense. So you did that, and had your shocking, indoctrination with
it wasn't like at the time it felt like quite a long time for me, because when you're 17, 18, like half a year is like whatever, such and such percentage of your life, but actually it probably wouldn't have seemed very long for everyone else. And I just had to, I mean, that's the thing, but I'd started writing my own songs and stuff like that. I was like, I need to have my own band. It was like, it didn't matter what band I was in. It was like, it's not,
Do you think people can write together? Genuinely? Like four people, right? Let's say there's four in a band and they go, we all write the songs. How true do you think that is?
Well, it can happen, but it just depends, like,
I think 2 tops.
Yeah, but it's like, I think, right, for writing music, I think easy. Because I think like, but like lyrics and stuff like that, no. I don't know a lot of, apart from obviously, Paul and John. It's like,
but they didn't last that long, mate.
And I don't even know if they did. I think sometimes one of them just wrote a song and the other, and they were just like, well they still put our names.
Did, but they only did it for what, a decade?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They're probably the best ever, really at it. If whether they were or weren't together, they did a decade.
Yeah,
like, maybe a couple. And I think you can do different stuff as well. But like people say that I make records and people go, "Oh, we all write the songs." And I'm like, "No, you don't."
No, someone comes in like melodies and lyrics generally have to be like one person.
Well, Matt's saying that Shutter all write it, but that's music, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I think music can't.
There you go, mate.
I find music is like,
that was a finger wag and a half. See that? That's it. And a lip bite. There you go.
I find it difficult when I've written a song. I really find it difficult to have someone come in and like start saying do this, do that. But if I'm working on someone else's song, I don't care about being told what to do. Like I'm just like, I don't really want to I don't really need to stamp my authority on this. Just tell me what you need, or I'll give you what I think you need and take as little or as much of it as you want. And
I think that there's music for I'm the same as you. I've enjoyed like doing little bits of session stuff, and they go, "Come and do this," and I go, "Great."
Yeah.
Or they want me to write stuff, I'll write a little bit of it, but it's right into what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's their story.
You're given a brief, either like verbally or just from listening. You're like, music, there's a brief here. Yeah,
for purpose, and they've defined the purpose, and that's a great thing. I think when there's anything autobiographical about it.
Yeah,
and that's not to mean that there can't be like bits of stylistic stuff. Like if you get a different drummer on it, that's a different song.
Yeah, fills or like little hooks and stuff. Yeah, fine.
Different bass player, very different guitarist, totally little bits and bobs. But like that is writing, totally.
Yeah.
But I think for everyone, there's a really amazing saying that I'm always repeating all the time, especially like a horse designed by committee is a camel.
Yeah.
Right, and you're trying to do a horse, and the guy goes, "All right, that's great, but give it big feet that are great at sand." So you've got these massive feet on this horse, so it's now not very good at being a horse.
Yeah,
give it massive eyelashes. You go, "Nice one." And somebody goes, "I give it a hump."
Yeah,
and then you go, "Great," and then you've not got a horse anymore, right?
Not, exactly.
It's a camel, right?
It's like,
So you know what I'm saying? You get it. But so you've done this. You've gone away to start your own band. Mm-hmm. Is that Lionel at that point?
Yeah. And it was like me, Sean Fleming, and Ross Haddo. There's the three of us, and I think we kind of played from maybe like, it was probably a good year, I think, of like sporadic jamming, rehearsing, before we did like a gig. The thing was, I was shit at singing, and I knew. I was like, I always pride myself on having the self-awareness. I was like, I knew like I would be good enough one day, but I was like, I'm not quite there yet. It's just like I could sing in key, but I was like, we'd record jams and I'd be like, nah, it's just not strong. It's not strong yet. And I knew that like part of it is you kind of do actually have to play live, because a lot of it is nerves. Like you can probably sing quite well in your bedroom very quickly, but it's when you go up on a stage and like you hear, there's a distinctive sound of hearing the legs of the microphone, like when you like your foot hits it, you're like, oh my god, this this thing is getting projected.
Well, just hearing foldback, if you hear a foldback, I'm only 40.
Yeah,
monitoring.
Yeah, exactly.
Back like, mixer,
and you're oh my, it's just so disorientating.
But you got there's that thing as well, and that I think that's where the psychology of it comes in as well. And that's that thing you have to almost pretend like it's not you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was
the difference between a rehearsal and a jam.
It's I don't really jam. I mean, sometimes.
No, but you know what I mean.
When there's jams, it's kind of like it's time to go home.
That's kind of the whole point of a place like this. It's like if you want to play a gig, and I'm not saying you have to. You do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But if you want to get onto a stage and be comfortable with like amps like that, and like monitors and PA and stuff, like, you need to do it before you get there, right?
Yeah, totally.
And it's that kind of thing. But yeah, cause when we used to rehearse in Igloo with no PA.
Yeah.
Like the guy,
which I think is good, because actually it drills everyone better on like great, bars and stuff like that, because you've not got the vocal cues. Yeah.
Amazing. They knew the arrangements.
Yeah.
Like everyone knew the arrangements, like inside out. And it meant like whatever happened. I always say, well, I think rehearsing in a band is no different to like a guy who plays for a football team, like doing 150 corner kicks in a training session.
Yeah, he's not going around doing like keepy ups.
He knows he can do the corner
it's like,
kicks. It's like, can he do it when there's like people there?
Yeah,
Can he do it when he can turn his brain
running
off?
at him. Yeah, so, yeah.
Can he turn his brain off and not be pressured out by the situation and just do it and do it to the best of his ability? That's what a band is. That's what a rehearsal is. It's not like you're doing it. Well, there's an element of learning it and getting to a point, and then the reason you practice it over and over again is because you can do it. But the thing is with music, all you want to do when you play it live is feel it.
Yeah.
If you have to think about it, I think people can see that.
Yeah.
And people can feel that. And they can see that separation between what you're doing. That's that thing. Anyway.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. What happened was I got into Interpol. And I was like, I can probably, like, that was the first time that I'd heard a singer that I really liked who wasn't singing really high. I was like, oh, that's my range. And I was like, and all due respect to Paul Banks, he's definitely a lot better now, but like, that wasn't part of the appeal. It wasn't like he's a great singer. It's like, no, he's got a cool sounding voice and his lyrics are, they complement music really well. And I was like, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then that kind of gave me confidence to then go and do it. And
Graham Hanks at Rehearsal, the IMOUT magazine that had Igloo and all that stuff, said to me about that, because I was the same as you. I was about singing, and I was like, whatever. He goes, it's not about being the greatest singer, it's about being a great singer of a song.
Yeah, and that's so true.
And I was like, all right, and that was the kind of thing,
Yeah.
And that's that thing with Paul Banks.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone else does it, it might be technically better,
but it doesn't have
isn't
the same atmosphere. Yeah. And that was kind of most of my 20s was being in that band. Yeah. And it was cool. It's weird. It whizzed by so quickly. It was like, it was the best part of 10 years, but everything happened in a small sort of few years. But then the pandemic happened as well.
Well, there was a lot to that.
Obviously, for everyone.
You did like your EP with Sam from Casual Sex.
Oh, yeah.
So that was great. It was a really cool raw thing. And then we did some recordings in that Igloo place where I was kind of kind of half knew what I was doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was, I had a vibe to it.
That was a cool time, yeah. That was the 2016, 2017. That was 2015, 2016, 2017. That was when, that was when it was like things felt like they were moving somewhere. Not necessarily that we are going to be an established band. It was just like, people are interested in us. We're getting offered gigs. It's cool.
There was a nice sort of line about it, and it was like the band were good and were functional on any stage, right?
Yeah.
So I remember, again, this guy Graham I'm talking about, who is a massive, part of my.
I really like Graham. Yeah, he's a really
cool
good
guy.
I've not
man.
seen him for a few years. I think he's moved, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's living elsewhere. But those are still his PA speakers. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. But like he spoke about all that, and he spoke about like just like, can you cope on any stage? First time that we played the Garden stage at Belladrum. And Graham came along.
Yeah.
And he was saying, because I was nervous and that as well, blah, 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 all that kind of horrible stuff. I hadn't slept either.
Is that when you shaved your head?
No, that was a different time.
Oh, right,
but I can get into that later if you wish. Basically, like I'd gone, I think, I might be misremembering this, right? There's a big bit, I think we were on the second day.
Right.
Or something. And I was there the day before and I'd gone back and I just panicked. And we'd gone out and I'd stayed out too late and blah, 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 blah. And, just terrified. Yeah. Probably listening to Jeff Buckley and crying, which was like my usual go-to when I was having a terrible time.
Either Jeff Buckley or Elliott Smith, I suppose.
Well, no.
It wasn't quite that bad.
Not Elliott for me, man.
Really?
Anyway. Yeah, just Buckley going, what was the point? Look at how brilliant this guy is. It'll never be this good.
All right, okay. Like
these are the most beautiful things that have ever happened. It's the best produced record ever done, and I've got to do it. I'm a fraud, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, chain smoking fags and making things easier. But anyways, I'd done that. But I'd played the gig, and you're right about that first time you play something, with side fills. Speakers that point back at you from the side.
Yeah. Is that what they're called? Side fills? I did not know that.
Yeah. Really, and you go, whoa, what that you...
Every technician that heard me earlier saying, like, the PA on the stage,
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's still what it is, mate. That's what it is. And that kind of stuff. And he came out and he was so kind, and he was like, he didn't look out of place up there.
Yeah.
And it was really nice because I had it in my head that wherever we played, whether it was in Hatters or the Market, which were awesome places to play, or whether it was on that stage, it was the same gig.
Yeah.
Right? And it was up to the people that got it as well. But then he was really kind, and he said there were other bands that had done it that were they were big bands, but sort of getting there, and he was like, they looked uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying that kind of stuff and going, oh man, this is a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I interrupt you.
What bit were we at, I suppose? I can't remember now.
No, I was talking about making the record, and then like in Igloo, and then you did your second record, you went down to...
Oh, like we went to Sheffield with Colin Elliott, and we like recorded 4 tunes and then released them as singles, and and then we had... I can't remember. Wait, I'm trying to jog my memory. Yeah, that took up most of like 2018, and then 2019 there was a flourish of like activity, which was really cool. We did like we supported Noel Gallagher at the Bacht, and we played. I think we did one more show at Belladrum that year. And
do you remember how many people were moaning about the bar at Noel Gallagher? Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was.
And I was like, that the guy that we all kind of for a lot of people got us into music is over there.
Yeah, and this is the Highlands.
You're
baby.
spending your time moaning about the queue at the bar.
That probably.
I was like, no Gallagher's at the Bacht, mate. Eh? You know what I mean? Like there's him.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I mean, I think like 2/3 of the audience didn't come until like his second tune. You know what I mean? Like literally, I saw the rush from Dalnay, like just as like And
I love that. I love that kind of stuff. But I also like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah. That was...
You can lead the horse to water, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think
you can bring Noel Gallagher to Bacht.
Yeah,
and those good.
But make sure there's enough bar staff.
I mean, yeah, yeah. But then I don't know. I mean, that's maybe me being overly sentimental about music again. But I was like, man, come on, like just look at him. He's there. That's him there. Was it Razorlight support as well?
Yeah, exactly.
I love Razorlight,
and They were good. They were really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose that would take us up to the pandemic, and then that's sort of when I started writing this other music, and then that was in the Joshua Hotel, I suppose.
So Joshua Hotel was just you at home?
Yeah, it was just me, and I was part of like a songwriters club. What happened was when the lockdown started, I would like make more extensive recordings for this group.
Yeah,
I think everyone did because like, it was like you had more time, obviously. And I was saying that, and I was like, kind of like, you know what? These are like, I was listening. A lot of the music I was listening to was like metronomy and all that, and I was like, yeah, they've recorded like a lot of this stuff like basically in their bedroom, and the first couple albums. And I kind of just felt like that's kind of achievable for me. Like it's not going to be maximalist sort of music. It was like drum machines and guitars and synths. And I don't know, I just found it more rewarding for me to just like start an idea and finish it kind of by myself, essentially. And that was kind of the essence of what then became the Joshua Hotel, I suppose.
Did it feel quite freeing to not be writing for other musicians?
Yeah, well, there was like, what happened with the old band was that like there was a sort of expectation to write a certain song, which was not really put on me by like other members or anything, but it just formed its own identity. And then I kind of felt like I had to just sort of, I don't know, be...
It's so difficult as well, because I think when it's a band, I kind of, not tried to avoid that, but I went, I didn't go under on any name other than my own one, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is what I write, and this is the song.
Yeah.
And the songs, I'm me, there's no stage name.
Yeah.
That this is my actual silly name, this is not someone else, And when I do it on my own, I'm just called me, and when I do it with a band, it's like this. But that band could be ever changing, right? That's like Spider from Mars or like Bowie's band or whatever, like, but this is the song.
Yeah.
And I think when you play, when you come up with a concept like that and you play it to other people, they're going to interpret it in a way that they can't really change sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when I was recording your band, I remember we were doing stuff that never came out, and I kept, because we share a drummer, right?
Yeah.
Like so Russell plays with like Lionel, and he plays with the Outsiders as well, and And I kept trying to hear his playing differently. And no matter what I did, my interpretation took me back to mixing it a certain way or pushing it a certain way.
Yeah.
And like, and you had guitar lines that I think what you were going for was a lot more delicate and controlled. And my brain was just taking me to like Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think, you know what I mean? We were doing that and I was like, oh man, I think our involvement for what you need to get needs to be happening somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because remember you've been like, no, let's chill that out a bit. And I was going, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then before I know it, I've a massive reverb in the snare.
Yeah.
I've got you double tracking, big muff guitar.
It's
like,
just sort of different schools of ideas.
But I think like an interpretation with like, whether that's in a band or whether there's that's why, like, you know, that's why musicians added to like a project. Like Bowie's guitarist, we'll go back to Bowie all the time, but like whoever you're doing it. So why when Phil Collins plays with Zeppelin, it wasn't very good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? It's not that he's the bad drummer or whatever. But or producers, man, if you get like the wrong person to make a record, it's really not going to be anywhere near what was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So did you find it very freeing that the only person that was going to be performing on this was going to be you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it wasn't necessarily so much about the performance, but yeah, it was like I would oversee how, because there's a very clear idea in my head of how I want something to sound when I start. I think it can sort of like twist and change a little bit, but it still has to be true to that first essence of the idea, I suppose. So it was good to really be able to just kind of oversee that. And then it kind of like a couple of songs sort of got quite a lot of radio play, and then we got booked to play a gig, and we'd only really been sort of like rehearsing a little bit, not really with any, and you know, no clear plan to play live. Then the booking came to play King Tut's. Actually, it was the first gig we did. And then it was like, right, okay, so we kind of, you know, became more of a kind of structured, I suppose, 3-piece band, at least live for that point.
Yeah.
And then I think just somewhere down the line, I was doing the usual thing of like recording most things to like pretty much completion in the house, and then would start working with Jason because he would just kind of finish it off. We'd add some live elements to it if needed. And then when it just came to the point where I was like, well, I'll just ask Josh to come and do the live drums and get Lou in to do some stuff. And there's an element that's really weird. It's like, because I have more control over how the final outcome will be, it makes me actually more relaxed about giving space. Because it's like, because there's less, there's room there. I suppose it's because there's these two slots. There's a couple of slots of space where they can fill in. And it's not actually, you know, unless they go completely off the wall, which, you know, sometimes actually has its good, you know, it's good outcomes. But it's like the essence of what I wanted is always going to be there.
When you're playing live, you've got trust. You know, that trust has to be there. And that only comes when you know that, I don't know, like things have to fit together, right? And I think sometimes, whether people mean it or not, especially when they're younger,
people want to stamp their authority on things.
They want to be like, watch this.
It's like there's a desperation, and I felt it as well as a guitar player in other bands. It's like you get your little spot, and you're like, your heart starts racing. You're like, and you look around, you're like, and you do something that like, you know, you weren't, you know, it wasn't planned, and it's like a, you know.
I mean, sometimes those things are great, but they tend to happen more in, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Or when bands are just kind of finding their. People are kind
and things happen and they become part of how you do it live. You add extra bars, you add these things, there's spaces for all that stuff. But I think that not stepping on each other's toes.
It's like, so if you're the Red Hot Chili Peppers, okay, fine. But otherwise,
I mean, that's their whole deal, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. They go on stage and start playing solos.
Probably why they were brought to see them.
Yeah.
Do you know, I mean, and everyone's different. Some people like that. But I mean, you know, do I like the jazz band or do I want to go see...
Yes, like,
so I want to go see Rudy Blues to that song.
Yeah,
I think if you go to see Floyd stuff just now, right? If you go to Roger Waters, I think you get a more raw thing.
Yeah.
If you go to Gilmore, you get like, oh man,
that
is so tight. That's so on it.
Yeah.
And I think they're both perfectly valid.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know. I've not seen either of them. I'd probably rather see Roger Waters. Though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
see, I don't
That's
know.
where me and you are different.
That's it, man.
Gilmore Waters.
Gilmore Waters.
Yeah.
That's it. So so that's led to like, the recording of that. You did your record down with Jason.
Yeah. The first sort of EP, proper EP. Anyway, there's one that I'd done in my bedroom over lockdown, which was.
It's got Love as an Algorithm and stuff.
Yeah, which you had mastered.
Yeah.
So, which was good to get that out. I like, even though it's like some of the vocal performances on it are so rough, but I don't care. It's like, it's cool. I'm quite happy with it.
You're very good at that thing that I'm not so good at, of sending someone to someone and going, tell me if anything on that is upsetting you.
Yeah.
And then listening to what those people say.
Yeah, and I just go with them and just,
Yeah, I've done that 3 times with the record that I've been trying to make for like, I don't know. It makes Chinese democracy look like it happened like in a week, right? Or whatever. But you're very good at that. You're very good at letting it go.
Yeah.
And like going, that's it. And because I think it depends on who you send it to and who you trust and all that. But like, you sent me stuff and going, is there anything upsetting? And it's been like the odd thing.
Yeah.
And it's never the vocal.
Yeah.
It's like a ping pong, an ice cream van that goes off in the middle or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really blowing my head off, whatever. But do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I've gotten quite good at that. It's just like, I don't know. I'm not too precious about performances. As long as they have character, that's more important to me. So.
Yeah.
And then, but definitely I would say, though, the last EP is more polished, but that's more just... it's just the circumstances around it. It wasn't like there was an effort put in to make it more rigid.
It's the time spent on it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The time spent on it, and the fact that you were produced by Jason, who's a great producer, and that kind of thing as well. It's another pair of eyes and ears, right?
Yeah. And then the album was just a natural kind of extension of the EP, I think. And yeah.
And are you excited about the songs on the album? Like, what stage is that at just now? What does that cycle of like when you make it, right? So, and you're working with Last Night from Glasgow, so there's videos and stuff. Like, how does that work?
They're very hands off, like completely. You give them the stuff, and then they like do their thing with it, which is good. It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't really any different from. I think I wrote 18 songs for the album, and I was kind of like I made a playlist of all of them in demo form, and then sent them to the guys, and we all kind of decided, and Jason as well, decided which ones would make the cut. And then we recorded 13. And then at the end of it, we were like, there's 2 songs that just weren't fitting with the flow of the album. And then, yeah, it's weird. So, there's some songs like that predate even the last EP, but they just were like, they were half finished and put on the shelf.
Yeah.
But I think like a narrative kind of came out of it, like it started to present itself as it went on and stuff like that. I think it actually it's quite a simple kind of simplistic concept, but it's like, it does seem to sort of like draw from experiences of my entire life, the past like probably since I was a child, really. There's like cultural references, which people wouldn't maybe even notice, but for me, it kind of like, it talks about just the world I was living in growing up from like, probably like 2001 to now, just from all conscious memory to now. And I quite like it in that sense. And I said actually in another interview, so it came a bit, but it just sort of accidentally was quite a good way to sum it up, is that like stylistically, which I think is a theme with all my stuff, it's like it kind of does ping pong around different, genres a little bit, I think there's enough to tie it all together, but generally, like the way I would see the album is that like, all the songs could certainly fit on the same soundtrack for a film.
Yeah.
Right. So that like it'll vary a bit, but like it will be tied together by an overarching kind of like atmosphere. I think so. That I think I'm personally happy that what we did was the end product of that was hitting that, I suppose.
I think that's an album, isn't it? That's that thing.
Yeah, that's
what ties it together. Like,
yeah.
And I think you're, whilst younger than me, you're still old enough to understand that concept.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I don't know. Do you think people will start listening to albums as albums again? Like, what have you found? you know, with your singles and stuff that have come out, is it been, I mean, obviously I'd imagine it's mainly streaming and stuff, but do you like directly engage with people who are looking at that, like on a Bandcamp or any of these things? Like, are you in conversation with the people that are engaging with your music? So, I don't know, say on like a Discord or say on something like that, you know, what is your, there'll be benefits and drawbacks to all of that, right? So there'll be benefits to being like, hey, we could ask me anything, talk to me all the time, blah blah blah. Or there's like the opposite and going, well, here's the record. Yeah, that's what you can do, and you know you can come and meet me at a show or something.
Yeah,
talk about that. You know, there's a really weird thing that's happening right now where people seem to be documenting elements of their life that are nothing to do with their commercial output, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that sort of thing is fine and good and really helpful if it's natural to you.
Yeah.
I think some people are just naturally good overall personalities and can do it really well, and that's really cool. But you can kind of, I had a conversation with someone last week about this actually, and it's kind of quite heartbreaking the amount of like kind of alternative artists that you see at the moment who are like on TikTok, like, you know, trying to promote their latest single. And you can basically see the major label executive in the corner with a gun pointing at them.
I mean, it's absolutely a valid platform.
Oh no, like, it is like that's what I'm saying. If you're like, you can totally like present yourself how you want to the world authentically.
Yes,
and some people are better at that. And doing all the other stuff surrounding music, you know, their personality, comedy, whatever. But like, what I think is really tragic is that like you get artists who have been on the go for 30 years and all of a sudden like their label bosses are telling them like, by the way, you know, you have to start making little like ukulele versions of your latest single.
See, again, I think, you know, like the pressure I can only imagine at these top level deals, right? Where, you know, but the nature of how money works, right, is if somebody spends a lot of money on you, they need money back, right?
Yeah.
And where is the money right now? It's not really in music in the most traditional ways we'd understand, right? No. And you know, they have to be so good at that part of it.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know any otherwise, so it's not a fair comparison, but I can totally see why like that must be really quite difficult.
Yeah.
For people who are because I would say like, you know, I'd imagine at the very top there's nobody going to like Pearl Jam and going, right, mate, get on TikTok.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
There's nobody, but
I've seen some of them.
What?
Maybe not Pearl Jam.
All right,
or
okay.
not,
I was like,
yeah, no, I think like, but there's some bands that like, I don't know, that you can see have really been forced to do it.
Yeah.
They maybe don't have the autonomy as like Pearl Jam or.
That's the very top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So.
But it's this kind of thing as well. But I get it. It's a different part of it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a thing. It was on, I think, probably Six Music or something. And Danny Harrison was on.
Who's that?
It's George Harrison's son.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
and he said...
I've seen him perform at the Grammys or something.
Yeah, and he said... or he was also playing guitar at that amazing version where Prince did the solo and then just left, just bailed out.
Oh, yeah.
Like
my guitar, my guitar gently weeps.
Yeah, and then it's just off. Anyway, Daddy's just smiling. Anyway, but he said like a piece of advice that Dad gave him was just never give away your privacy. That's the only proper advice he ever said. And you know, without trying to sound like too much of an old confused man or whatever, I don't know how damaging that is really in the long run, that people take, do you know what I mean? Like start doing those things. I mean, I say that whilst filming a podcast.
I think there's always
this is within our control, and this is our output. I've decided to do this.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in these stories.
You can still regulate how much of yourself is still being put on show. Like it's still to an element, it's a construct. Even if it's supposed to be you, like in your kitchen, you know, making a sandwich, you're still kind of playing a character.
Yeah.
In some, you know.
Well,
sense.
that's life in general, isn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah, we're all, as soon as we leave the front door, I think a lot of us are masking our way through the day.
Yeah. But you know, I wonder about that as well. I just wondered what. You know, having not released anything out with my own little label for Hiem or whatever in the recent times, you know, and actually in the Hard Times record, it's not even streaming; it's only on Bandcamp.
Yeah,
because of the demographic of the people that want that record. I mean, they'll buy a CD, which is really cool and all that kind of thing. Yeah. And I wondered, you know, like It is the drive towards more towards like a smaller but more engaged audience.
I think so, and that's people that want to buy vinyl and merch.
Yeah,
because I don't think you're. I mean, you're going to really struggle to sell a single on Bandcamp.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, or iTunes or whatever these days. It's just like, it just seems. I think there's no in between now. It's like either you give them the big product that's basically artwork and it's vinyl, or some people. I have a CD player in the car still, so I would buy a CD, but even that's kind of like still kind of clinging on to relevance, I suppose. So I think my idea for the band is that like we tend to appeal to a lot of people that liked some of the elements of the music we evoke, the first time round. So like, Simple Minds and or late 70s, 80s through to kind of 90s, what Britpop. I mean, it's just the stuff that I listened to when I was growing up. So that's it shows, I suppose.
Yeah.
And they thankfully are still quite a committed sort of demographic, and I'm really happy with that. I don't necessarily look at the sort of 16 to 25-year-olds as being where I'm not going to appeal to them. I don't, and there's no point in me wasting time trying to appeal to them, because I'd just be doing things that are completely unnatural.
Yeah, I mean, like Phil Campbell, who has his own successful solo career, and then like the Temperance Movement was doing that thing as well. He's got a really great podcast, and he spoke to a guy who owns the Sai Records,
right,
just there, and then he was a buyer at HMV for years and years before he opened that record shop, but they were talking about that. But like they were talking about that. This is on Phil's podcast, and they were talking about how a lot of people, younger people, aren't buying physical media to listen to it.
Yeah.
They are buying it
just to have it.
And support that artist.
Okay, so it's like their way of being part of a tribe. Almost. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I think that still exists, and you can still get that. Yeah.
It's pretty cool that you can do that, and you can directly be in touch with people. But I think you can do that without having to be like, I need to film 15 videos a week, or maybe you can not on a, like where we touched on pop culture earlier on like a broad level, but I don't think that's where music works.
Yeah,
like all the people that I have known for the longest are all still the same sort of the tribal thing. The same people that would come to a BRMC gig with me and stand in a roasting room in a double peacoat jacket, like from a young age. Like all those friends, you're into a thing that's it. Yeah, music's always been quite kind of tribal like that, and I think you don't need that tribe to be like. I don't think we'll ever see, again, it's an opinion, we'll ever see like what happened with like Nirvana or and Nevermind or like Oasis ever again.
No, it can't. It's like the world's changed. It's like the whole,
But I don't know if we should mourn that. I think people,
no, it just will change.
So AI,
right,
Josh, right? When it comes to writing, there's an AI band.
Yeah.
So again, I spend most of my time not consuming new music because I'm not really there. The stuff I hear on Six Music, or to be honest, most of the new music I encounter is what's happening in the city where I live, which I quite like about it, because I'm not out going to other cities, going to other gigs. I'm not doing that kind of stuff. I'm making music here, and I love that part of it.
Yeah,
but I also watch like YouTube channels, right? So I watch like Rick Beato, right?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. And I gave him my attention. There is an AI band out there, right? And then he actually did a video where he made a song, and he typed it into ChatGPT and then some other thing, that about how to do it, and it was fine. Yeah, it was adequate. But like what adequate? It was adequate. But some people have asked me what I thought about that randomly, just, in passing, and I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because it's not repeating anything I find that interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it's going to really stop a lot of really mediocre music.
Yeah. I think, I would say, like, primetime Radio 1 has already sound artificially generated for the past 8 years, at least. To the point where I feel a lot of hyper mainstream pop music is, does kind of lack sort of soul to it that even really good mainstream pop music had, I think, in the 90s or 80s. You know, like
You're sitting on a George Michael t-shirt.
well, exactly. Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that documentary about the
Wham.
the Wham one's amazing.
It's
as well.
amazing, yeah, and the one about him.
But the one about Band Aid,
Oh, I've not seen that.
the really recent one, and they've gone behind the scenes and they've gone in everyone.
Yeah.
And when George walks in, everyone's like, "Oh, there's a thing."
Yeah,
that happens when George comes in. It's like he's like that other planet thing.
Yeah,
Everyone, you know,
rightfully so. Yeah.
and there's like, you know, there's Hadley and that
Yeah.
kicking about. They've done their bit. There's other guys from Spandau just kicking about the day, hungover, having a nice time. But when George comes in, there's something about that.
Yeah.
You know, him and Boy George, I would say, on that whole...
Well, it's because it was their moment.
Yeah.
Even though there was bigger stars than them, it's like
Yeah.
the stars were established, and I think it was like, Boy George and George Michael were like the two that were like, oh, they're going to be here. Or certainly George Michael.
Yeah.
It's like he's going to be sat at the table
Yeah.
like in the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, there's also stuff as well. There's footage of Rossi and Parfit, man. They got in from Quo, and it is the most real life Spinal Tap thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
yeah.
That they're calling mid-year smudge and stuff, and giggling to themselves. What's that, smudge? You know.
Yeah.
Do you know? Well, we supported Quo in 2012, and I saw Parfit doing up some high techs on a wheelie bin.
Really? That was his clobber.
That was it. I mean, yeah, he's doing all right. They sold a lot of records.
Oh, of course.
High techs.
Yeah.
Well, he's
It's
dead
just-
now, isn't he?
Yeah, but yeah.
But high
He was
techs.
buried in his high techs.
Is he?
No.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's AI. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm not that confused. I mean, what I do worry, they're going to incorporate a lot more into it. But I guess it depends on the kind of music you're making and what you're.
I think so. Like, yeah. I mean, there's
giving you a headache.
No. I'm just trying to think how I'm going to say this. Like, I think that hyper commercial pop music I spoke about is like so much more commodified. Like, even always has been, obviously, because it's just part of like it's like the McDonald's of music. Everyone, majority of society wants it, loves it.
Yeah.
Is it gourmet? No. I mean, it's not. It's not 5-star. But I know you might disagree.
I've had a couple of 5-star McDonald's in my time.
Yeah.
The one I had the day I brought my son and my wife home from the hospital was one of the greatest meals I've ever had.
Memories made. But yeah, this is probably quite a trite sort of parallel to draw, but like there's not room for character and experimentation when there's like record labels want you to be hitting goals like commercially. So they already have a team of like, people generally will always have teams that are just there to make sure like, there's enough sugar, there's enough salt, there's enough that, and it's short enough and it's compact enough for market.
Well, I think the way that even those the way that songs are written for that market are different. They're front loaded now, aren't they? Like
yeah, exactly.
I mean that Weekend song's amazing.
Yeah,
it is amazing. But that changed. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could argue Aha did it in the 80s, but whatever. They changed how that what is. Like, you don't have that attention span. The narrative of how a song is structured was changed by that nature of consumption.
Yeah.
And I think with the fact is that because there's not as much money in music as an industry, like as a whole, that the risks that
they won't take risks now.
They can't. Yeah. And I don't know.
I think AI will probably take the place of like, just quality control, like songwriters that are in, like that's essentially what, there's generally someone comes up with probably the majority of a song always, and then there's just people that are there basically for quality control, essentially. And I think AI perhaps will take away that, and in particularly just that sort of hyper commercial sort of pop world, I suppose.
I guess, because 20 years we'll call it, kind of thing, since like, bands have been A&Ring themselves with their own social media and building their own audiences before they get near any sort of label. And then like in the history of kind of pop music and rock music, that's a tiny percentage, but yeah, I think that was the last big change. And now I think this one, the push more onto like, people using music has no longer become the focus of these, in my opinion. It has become something that somebody else can use as an asset to sell their product.
Yeah.
So to like sell their channel and whatever, they're not there to talk about the music. The music becomes something they can, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's an asset that they use.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, it's interesting. That's the way it's kind of gone. But I hope it doesn't overtake the want for people to make their own art. I just think it kind of exposes and alienates the people who are like really lazy about it. You know?
Yeah, maybe. I think it's only going to risk. I think we touched on it earlier. People that make music because they want to be rich and famous.
Yeah.
It's going to affect that style, the sort of music those people make.
Yeah.
I think people who are like just innate songwriters, like who are giving a very unique perspective, however they see life, their relationships, their interpersonal relationships, stuff like that. Like you're not going to get AI. You're not going to care what AI Nick Cave has to say about the life that Like
Yeah.
you want to hear Nick Cave's album because like you want to hear about his interpretation of like the pain, the suffering, the love, the euphoria he's experienced in life, or he's recalling from his past.
Yeah. Josh's band, the Joshua Hotel, playing An Seòmar right here in Inverness on Saturday, the 27th of September. You can buy tickets from the Fixer link below. If you want to come and rehearse here at IMOUT Studios, there'll be a link to the rehearsal links below as well. Thanks for joining us on this first podcast. If it goes well, we might do more. Thanks very much.